I have been looking forward to this little trip, and I know what some of you may be thinking. Those of you that follow the channel and those of you that know where I am, you're probably thinking to yourself, come on Pete, you've just left Newton Abbot on the road to Ipplepen. You're going to that milk shed again. Well, yes, work continues on my little 125, and I am fortunate that whilst I'm working on that bike, I can ride my Daytona 675. I do know how fortunate I am in that respect. So what are we doing with the 125 then? Well, yesterday I replaced the stator for the second time, because of course when I replaced that first stator, when we first started getting the charging problems and I replaced the stator, the bike wouldn't start because the replacement stator was faulty. More specifically, I think the crank position sensor on that stator was faulty. So yesterday I went ahead and fitted his second replacement stator, and I'm happy to say that after fitting the second replacement, the bike did start. So that's something, certainly more than we got last time. But unfortunately, even after fitting the stator, his battery was flat anyway, so I had to give him a jump start. But he was running at 8.5 volts. So I think it's regulator time, because with a jump pad hooked up and a working stator, assuming that this one works, he should definitely have been charging at a rate much higher than 8.5. In fact, I'm surprised he was even running at 8.5 volts. So it is now regulator rectifier time. And when I first got this problem, and I made a video about the problems with my 125, one of my viewers commented and he said something very straightforward, very to the point. It was something like, stator and regulator rectifier mate and it'll be fine. Well, I'm hoping that he was right, because that is the road that we are finally on. We'd have been here weeks ago if it wasn't for that first dodgy stator. But I am now waiting for a replacement regulator rectifier, and then hopefully, with a bit of luck, and I think we're going to need luck with this job, but with a bit of luck, the 125's charging problems should be a thing of the past. Now, along with getting Rafiki running properly, I am still trying to keep him looking good. He does gather some dust in the garage while he's not being used, but that's fine, we can keep him nice and clean. But one thing that has annoyed me for a little while with my 125 is the wheels. You see, they're okay, they're black, matches the black and blue colour scheme, and I have seen several of these Gen 1s in this colour scheme fitted with gold wheels, silver wheels and black wheels, and I must say I do believe that black is the best colour for that colour scheme. Only they don't shine, and when you've got a nice shiny bike, black and blue, shiny black, shiny blue, and then you've got black wheels that don't shine, kind of detracts from the theme of having a nice bike. And I can't help but feel like these wheels should be shining. And so I started looking into what to do about it. And yes, I guess I could just paint them myself, but I'm not a good painter. Honestly, I'm not great with paint. So I looked into, can we get these wheels refurbished, professionally refurbished, powder coated? Can I find a company that's willing to do this? And if so, what's it going to cost me? And that's what brings us to Ipplepen today. that for once it's not the milk shed that brings me to Ipplepen. It's that place over there. Can't really see it from this angle, but it's called Spectrum. There are powder coaters, and I am hoping that they can give me some advice on getting Rafiki's wheels powder coated. Let's see if I can find them. Well, that was a very productive conversation. So let's head home and I'll tell you what they said. Well, I don't know what happened. I was just heading home and then I was at the milk shed with 2 milkshakes. Well, it would have been rude, wouldn't it? Heading over to Ipplepen and not going to the milk shed? I don't think I could have forgiven myself for that one. So, the powder coaters then. Nice chap. Turns out he's into motorbikes as well. And he said that they do a lot of motorbike stuff, in particular during the winter. Of course, when everyone's got their winter projects going, they do a lot of motorbike stuff. And yeah, what he said is, yeah, you can definitely do them pretty quickly, quick turnaround. They're only open on weekdays, which could be a problem, but then I can always start work late if need be. And he said, yeah, what you need to do, he says, bring us the wheels without the tyres and without the bearings. And I was wondering about that. Bearings hopefully aren't a problem. Hopefully I can take them out myself. I've done it before. If not, I'll get a shop to do it. But he said, bring us the wheels minus the tyres, minus the wheel bearings, minus the valves, and it's 150 quid all in. That's for the chemical dipping and the blasting and the powder coating, and we'll get them powder coated up into a nice deep gloss black so that those wheels will shine along with the rest of the bike. And it makes sense to do the job now, because whilst Rafiki is off the road yet again and he does need tyres, in fact I would probably have had the wheels powder coated and had new tyres fitted already if it hadn't been for all the problems that I've had with the bike. In fact, both bikes. We have had a lot of problems with both bikes over the winter, hence this job has been pushed back a little bit. But it makes sense to do it now. Whilst Rafiki is off the road having more work done, it makes sense for me to pull his wheels off, get them refurbished, get some new tyres fitted. And the only thing we have to hope for is we have to hope that the 306 stays on the road long enough for me to actually get this wheel job done.